a year. And then, of course, following my heart, meeting Sean, finding this formula, and I felt I needed to take it global with him. I walked away from tens of millions of dollars to be here today. So thank you, Craig, for that intro, and I'm really excited for.
And most importantly, Adam, great job, is these fine folks. Thank you for being here. And Craig, awesome job, dude. You are doing beautiful things. And so, yeah, who are these fine folks that are here today?
All right, I'm going to get into this. And one thing I wanted to say, Sean, and I've talked to a few of you where, and as much as I'm impressed with Adam on all those numbers, you know what I'm really impressed with Adam? His heart, such integrity. I mean, him and Sean, what attracted me to these guys was their integrity, and it's fun to do business with them. I can be genuine with them. So I just wanted, and I felt, Sean, quite honestly, I talked to a few of the people here that we were just heartfelt talk, like some people looking to find out what they really want to do, and then what they are doing, a lot of them very passionate about. So great, special group. I'm going to start with wonderful Dr. Zachary Cadman. And I got to say this real quick. He had a baby a few weeks ago, and I can totally relate to that because he reminds me of my son. He's a few years older. I said, you're probably not getting any sleep just like my son. So wonderful, Dr. Zachary Cadman, and he's a chiropractor. Do you want me to tell more about him, Sean? Because I have a.
Yeah, well, let's let folks share a little bit. So Zachary, did you have a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Do you go by Zach or Zachary? Is it?
I go by Dr. Zach.
Okay, Dr. Zach, how are you? I'm Dr. Callagy. I have a JD from Seton Hall Law School, Columbia undergrad. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. So, Dr. Zach, did you have a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Oh, very cool. And what is her name?
Brooklyn.
All right. Aww. Very, very cool. That is so cute. Awesome. So congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Craig.
All right. Then I have Dr. Jennifer Pedley. She's a wonderful gal. And I kept messing up because her email she said was 39. Me teaching special ed math, I kept putting 999. And so we finally got her here. So there's wonderful Miss Jennifer Pedley.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Do you go by Dr.
Jen, Dr. Pedley, whichever.
Dr. Jen, how are you?
Good, great.
Yeah, how about a fun fact about you?
Fun fact. My fun fact was my favorite place that I ever lived. It was in Sydney, Australia.
Boom. And what was your relationship with the ocean in Sydney?
Oh, gosh, beautiful. Bondi Beach, amazing. All the beaches around there are just absolutely amazing. And every beach has its own character, but gorgeous.
Very cool. Well, what are you up to? And what are you up to in the world? Like, what are you creating?
Well, now I'm in Southern California, Redlands, California. And I'm also a chiropractor, but I have a specialty in radiology. So I'm a chiropractic radiologist. So I'm a radiologist for doctors, lawyers, third-party insurers.
Oh, very cool. So are you involved in cases? What types of cases are you involved in?
Yeah, so there is a lot of PI and workers' comp cases. And then also just for wellness, trauma, that type of thing too. I also read for a standalone imaging center where they do a lot of MRIs as well. So I read for them. And usually the chiropractors are wanting my report, some surgeons. So that's who I write for.
Awesome. Well, great job and congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Craig?
All right. And then we have a Tara. And Tara, did I have it right? Was it Bohannon or Newton on your last name?
It's still legally Bohannon, even though I've been with my husband for almost 30 years. We were literally in the process of this year changing it over to Newton, and then COVID hit. So my husband kind of takes offense. He thinks that, I don't want to change my name, even though it's only been 30 years. But it is transitioning over to Newton. Everything was listed out as Newton. And so it was in that whole process,
Okay.
Going to Social Security, the DMV, all of those fun steps 30 years later. And so it's still Bohannon, but everything's being transitioned over.
Okay, very good. And she has her own business, Legal Nurse Consulting, right? Newton Legal Nurse Consulting.
Yes, I've actually been in medicine, nursing for 20 years and always loved the medical legal aspect. And then ended up doing a certification in legal nursing and transitioned out of the hospital and now have my own business where I assist PI attorneys, med mal, any attorney that deals with health, illness, or injury. And I'm part of their process for the IMEs or DMEs or that deep dive into the medical records. I absolutely love it. It's my chance and opportunity to still work with the injured client and be able to provide the best care for them with their legal team.
That's awesome. Congratulations on crushing it. How about a fun fact?
Oh, I told Craig this. I actually am horrible watching either like horror movies or suspense movies. And I'm usually either running out of the room or hiding under the covers. And it drives my family absolutely nuts, even though I know it's completely not real. But I'm usually the person going, oh my God, that injured person on the movie. And my husband's like, get out of here. So I'm not fun to watch movies with unless they're, sappy or something along those lines, even though I'm hard as nails and it cracks him up. He's like, you just need to leave. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
pretty funny.
Beautiful, fun energy. Awesome job. And it's a pleasure.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah. Craig.
And Greg, I'm so sorry. I have you on here and all I have is your name there. And I'm sorry, what was your last name?
My name is Greg Critchfield.
Critchfield. Okay, very good. All right. So Greg, because I had everybody send out something, right? So Greg, I'm trying to remember, but I want you to introduce yourself. I just remember you were excited. I remember that. So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. Greg Critchfield, live out here in Denver, Colorado. My company does accounting for law firms primarily, more specifically personal injury, mass tort type law firms. And I have a CPA, and we employ about 6 other CPAs that help anything from tax to bookkeeping, doing your payroll, things like that, and then more high-level things like budgeting and forecasting and such. So,
Greg, super cool, man. A pleasure. And how about a fun fact, sir?
I guess I played college baseball for 4 years out in Cal State, Los Angeles. So that was kind of fun.
That's awesome. Dude. Congratulations. What position did you play?
Thank you. Center field.
No way. Right?
Yeah.
Where'd you bat in the lineup?
It moved around, but I'd say I was like 5'6" area.
All right. Very, very cool. Pleasure.
Yeah.
I played at Columbia University on the East Coast.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, and I was a leadoff hitter back in the day, a long time ago. So, but
nice.
It's fun to meet another player, and I am not confused that you're playing, some awesome baseball out there, man, on the West Coast. So that's great stuff.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool. And just as a quick footnote, so I'll drop in a little bit for various relevance. So yes, Adam and I have Unblinded. I still own 125 person law firm, offices in 5 states, and we're going to be open up in California shortly, but in Arizona, Florida, Texas, New Jersey, New York, and I'm blind, legally blind. I don't know if we shared that fun fact yet. And what this is all about is a superpower of influence. I have the unique privilege of being only one of 2 attorneys in the nation that was in the top 100 national jury verdicts twice between 2014 and 16. We had a $33 million and a $27 million verdict. That's the largest verdict in the last decade in Arizona. And that was all from understanding the power of influence. I've had the privilege of speaking on stages around the country, including Tony Robbins stages at 8 of their last 9 events, including in front of, as many as 15,000 fine folks. And this is, what my life stands for, is all about: integrous, authentic, heart-centered, connective influence. And it operates in what creates and destroys cases in the courtroom, out of the courtroom, life, businesses, relationships, leadership, is the ability for us to go from hello to yes with authenticity, heart, and integrity. So that's kind of what we're up to a little bit. And yes, fun fact is that I am blind. And Craig said I might be the only blind surfer he knows, but I taught another blind man to surf just this past Sunday. So you had 2 blind dudes out in the Atlantic Ocean where Jaws happened, in 1916, 2 miles from where I'm sitting, which is the heart and soul of my life, Long Beach Island, New Jersey. Craig, back to you, brother.
All right, I love that. Now you're getting me afraid thinking about those sharks, Sean. All right, now this is wonderful, David Kua. David works in Pasadena, and I love that because I grew up in Arcadia right next to that. And David, you guys will always remember this fun fact. I just got to say this. He said he got at least 4 women pregnant throughout his career, but as a chiropractor, that is.
Dave, I was like,
I just read that, what? And then, so he got me too.
That's a good one, David. David, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. And how about a fun fact besides the beautiful fact?
The chiropractors here will understand how I did it. It was through chiropractic, actually. As you know, I don't know if you're familiar with what we do, but we mainly work on the brain and nervous system. So when something is malfunctioning, such an organ like the ovaries or the uterus, but just in certain segments of the spine, it can affect those organ systems, making it work it more efficiently. And of course, I always added the nutritional component too. So that's how it happened.
Dr. David, Dr. Zach, Dr. Jen, yes, I am fully familiar with chiropractic. I've had the unique privilege of my first law firm that I eventually sold representing the New Jersey State Chiropractic Society. So I've lectured in front of chiropractors dozens of times in my life, and we've helped chiropractors and other medical providers collect more than $400 million of unpaid bills from insurance companies. So we do a lot of insurance litigation and disputes over billing, and this has been one of the major areas my firm is focused on. So I, yes, authentically connect to the integrity of chiropractic, what it brings to the world, and the incredible need we have for a more holistic and encompassing view of healthcare in this country. And thank you guys for blazing that trail. So Dr. David, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, man. All right. So Craig.
All right, next we have Michael Fox. Michael Fox is an architect. And would I also say engineer, Michael, or just architect?
Just architect.
Michael.
Just an architect, amazing architect. So go ahead.
What are you up to in the world of architecture, and like what matters to you in the world?
Trying to keep busy. I don't know. It's weird times. We're actually super busy, but I'm in this big office right now, and it's completely empty except for me, and everybody's working remotely, and we've kind of figured out how to make it work. And I'm just like on Zoom all day, every day, which is kind of weird.
You've come to the right place. And I have 20,000 square feet of empty office space myself for my law firm, because everybody's working virtually at our headquarters in New Jersey. So my heart to yours. I appreciate it. Hey, what do you think though about the future? I mean, how are things going? I'm finding some really like things that are making me question if we really do need to work in an office all together all the time. What are your perspectives?
I don't think things are ever going to go back to normal in that respect. We're I'm also a professor, and I teach senior project thesis graduating students, and we're doing a project right now on kind of post-pandemic offices that they're looking at designing. Like, how does it even look? Because we've lost some big clients because they do office projects and they just can't like lease out their spaces now, and they don't know what to do. So I mean, there's a trickle effect to it. That's not just kind of the people not working there, but it's the developers, it's the architects, it's the people who build them. In all other aspects, we're fine. We do restaurants, we do multifamily housing is like exploding like crazy. In fact, in SoCal now we have like something called ADUs, which means you can build additional housing units on your lot and you don't need to park it or anything else. And everybody wants to do these because they're thinking this can be my home office now and I'm not going back to work. And I think that's the way it will probably be in the future. I'm looking at the photos of people here and there's a lot of people in houses.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. How about a quick fun fact?
Oh, I have 3 little kids. We go surfing minimum, I'd say 3 days a week. And
Boom.
last week, one of the kids broke her arm, so she is really, really upset about like sitting on the beach while we go out in the water.
How old are your kids?
10, 12, 8.
That's beautiful. And my heart's yours. Mine are 20, 18, and 17. And I miss those dynamics. So beautiful, fun, amazingness. But 8, 10, 12, that's some magic times, man. Congratulations on that. And where do you guys surf?
We either go to Doheny Beach, which is Dana Point, or a little south to San Onofre.
Yeah, Dana Point's got some beautiful, like super long break. Is that right? Like
They're perfect for little kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was out in Dana Point surfing about a year ago, and I was out there, and there had to be, 150 surfers in the water on a Sunday morning, just like relaxing, chilling at like 7:30 in the morning. It was incredible.
It's crowded.
Yeah. But it was for somebody from like when I surf out here, I'm alone. I just was surfing in New Jersey a little while ago, so it was pretty cool to be out there with a ton of people. It felt like it was like this just like get together where everybody's like just hanging out, talking like on their boards out there. I've never seen anything like it. So it was a really unique experience. So congratulations on an extraordinary life.
You too.
All right, Craig.
Yeah, and Sean, you're gonna have to go to San Onofre sometime too, because you won't see the 2 great whites that actually hang out around there. But it's like you're back in the 60s. I mean, I love it. You're talking about that easy going. Isn't that right, Michael? Isn't it like you're back in the 60s surfing at San Onofre?
Yeah, San Onofre, it's like 15 minutes from my house, but you drive down a dirt road and you cannot see any houses. It's just a dirt road on a cliff on the dirt beach. It's just a surf beach. It's fantastic.
And there's great whites though that hang there.
Oh yeah, maybe they're attracted to the power station. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I don't need. But yes, in the home of Jaws here in Long Beach Island, so that we could skip, but maybe we will. So awesome stuff, Craig.
All right, and sorry about all that surf talk, Miss Allison. We're getting to you. All right, Miss Allison, she is an attorney, and we had a good heart talk just about her looking different opportunities. But she's a wonderful attorney, mother of 5. So go ahead, Allison. You're on mute, Miss Allison.
So I run the Consumer Protection Division at the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. I worked for about 6 years at a big firm, had a come to Jesus moment, and was like, one of my next clients was going to be one of the CFOs for Countrywide, who was the designer and architect of the subprime mortgage crisis. And so I was like, I should be representing the people who lost their homes. So now I represent consumers. I was recognized this year as Consumer Protection Attorney of the Year down here in San Diego. I am also a full-time mom of 5 children. Actually, some of them are getting big and moving off to college. And a fun fact is that I moonlighted my way through law school as a karaoke DJ.
No way. And what was your favorite karaoke song of all time, Allison?
I do a mean Ricky Martin. So
that is amazing. And what would you say is sort of, and congratulations on being Consumer Protection Attorney of the Year. Fantastic. What would you say is the most problematic dynamic and trend that you see out there that consumers need protection from?
So in California, the fastest growing form of financing is something called PACE financing. And it's basically a predatory lending scheme that you pay for through your property taxes. And so it takes a super priority lien over your home, and it's all electronic. And when it was originated, it had no ability to repay requirements. So it was based on the amount of equity. So within 2 years, this became a $4 billion industry. And they were getting these liens left and right. And it's created like the next subprime mortgage crisis here. A lot of reverse redlining was done. So it's devastating our low-income communities of color. And so I've been leading the fight on that, helping get legislation passed. I worked with the White House and drafting guidelines with the Department of Energy too, and just really trying to stop people from losing their homes as a result of this. It's supposed to be for green energy. There's supposed to be green energy loans, but there was rampant fraud, door-to-door sales, and it was completely unregulated because it's paid for through property taxes. So that's probably the biggest issue facing homeowners here. But then there's COVID. So COVID threw a wrench into everything. And I have, unfortunately, a lot of homeowners who maybe could have afforded to pay, but when their banks offered them forbearance and deferment options, they didn't understand their options. And so they did no pay, and now they have balloon payments coming due and looking at threats of foreclosure. So that's taking up a lot of time now too.
I can only imagine that COVID has like been rocket fuel to the amount of craziness that's going on.
Just insane, yeah.
Thank you for all the great work. And by the way, like, what do you like to do in San Diego?
So I still love doing karaoke, but there's also this guy who plays guitar at the Westgate Hotel here, which is kind of a super nice hotel. And my mom was born and raised in Puerto Rico, so I speak Spanish fluently and I sing Spanish fluently. So he lets me come up on the stage. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is go chill over at the Westgate and sing Latin Vicente Fernandez at the top of my lungs.
All right. Well, Allison, living an extraordinary life as well. And yes, thank you for being here. And Craig, is that all of our fine folks?
Well, we have our judges. You want me to introduce them?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I've got Craig Baumol. Baumol, is that right, Craig?
Yeah, that's right.
And Craig does coaching. And Craig, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you, Craig. What's up, Sean, Adam, everybody over here? I am humbled at the grouping that we got over here. I do EQ executive coaching, emotional intelligence, specifically for owners and CEOs, working with team members, trying to build congruence within their teams, specifically between the leadership and the members, and really creating and facilitating passion and joy within the business so it ripples out to everybody's personal lives. Fun fact, I had so many swirling around that I'm going to jump in with Sean's that he loves to share at every possible option. The first time Sean and I ever sat down to a single conversation. I'm sorry, Karen, you heard this yesterday. But first time Sean and I sat down to a single conversation was me asking for 5 minutes of his time. And instead I got to sit down and watch him get a full body massage and him talk for, for an hour and a half and tell me his entire story from beginning to end, and then direct me to a completely new way of life, which ended up leading into my first working with a business. And it was my first time working with a sales team, escalating that team 12% in sales in 3 weeks. Wow. In a $1 billion company. And I couldn't even pay my mortgage that month. And yet that was my first step into this world. So
awesome job, brother. Craig, and by the way, in my like defense, right, like just to make sure this doesn't happen here, right, it was either like we had no time to meet or that was the way. And yes, my son and one other person were also in the room.
Yes, there were witnesses, so there was no.
It was one of the oddest mornings of my entire life, but it was a great morning. And Craig, it's awesome to see you, brother.
All right, wonderful Karen Dreher. And Karen, she's in financial services, and go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, so I help people see what they don't see about their money matters and make financial decisions and planning. And I'm also from Denver, Greg. So I live in Lakewood, actually. So it's good to see you.
You guys should definitely connect. That would be a very good connection.
Yeah, I'm just out in Wheat Ridge.
Oh, you're in Wheat Ridge. I went to high school at Wheat Ridge High School. So
is that right?
Yep.
Wow. So Karen, how about a fun fact?
Fun fact. Well, this weekend we don't have waves here, but I'm going to go on the paddle board in the lake, in our reservoir. It's not even a real lake. It's all man-made here, but that's my fun fact for the weekend.
Sounds like an awesome fun fact. And Greg, real quick, we have some meaningful connections with people in the space of mass tort, also in a variety of spaces that are, collateral services to the personal injury world. So, might be some introductions that would make sense for you. So be happy to share those.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So are we ready? We've got a lot of fun, a lot of amazing people. So Craig, should I share what we're going to do to have some fun together and drop in?
Sounds really good, Sean. Looking forward to it here.
Yeah. Okay. So for the sake of, speed, time, integrity, thank you all for being here, again, for your courage and vulnerability. Again, my name is Sean Callagy. And what we're doing here is we're exploring the superpower of integrous influence. And one of the great challenges, I had the unique privilege, speaking to this, like this dynamic, and Allison may find this particularly interesting. I think when influence is what creates and destroys, like makes yeses and nos happen. And integrous and non-integrous influence often look a whole lot alike. And so in the 2 top 100 national jury verdicts I had in 2014 and 16, in one of those cases, we put an attorney in prison for fraud and his various breaches of his duties. And we had another person plead guilty. And in those cases, they were incredibly effective at going from hello to yes with people as well, just non-integrously. In the second case, in fact, we put the Inspector General of the state of Arizona on the witness stand. And I am not going to bring integrity into the dynamic, but I will say that there was a gross dereliction of duty that led to my client being harmed extensively by his partner. And what we had to deal with there was also how to expose truth in the face of somebody saying that there was like no fraud, nothing bad happened. So how do you do that? And finally, in a case in Florida, there's a gentleman by the name of Scott Rothstein. I will use names because he's now serving 45 years in federal prison. And he was trying to take $8 million from my client. And he owned a 300-person law firm, had an incredible successful track record. It was like him and all these politicians and celebrities and athletes and all these incredible things. And it was actually the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of Florida. And he took $1 billion from people. So a part of what we're here to do and share is to think about, like, how do we know people? How do we share our greatness and amazingness, but also how do we like discern? Like, how do we discern and listen for dynamics that like that doesn't quite make sense? Like, so what is it that differentiates how you bring yourself forward to connect with others, and who are the others that you should be connecting with or not? All of those things are at play here on The Real Raw. And what you're going to do is you're going to have 3 minutes to share, like, to connect with Craig as the role player and talk about who and what you are in whatever way you would normally go from hello to yes. And then the judges are going to give some feedback. They're not going to judge you. They give some feedback on like how that all went. And we're all going to learn from each other. And that's what we're here to do on The Real Raw. And the genesis of this was about 3 years ago. Well, first of all, I think that when we speak publicly, it's an incredibly powerful and effective mechanism to get our message out and for people to know who and what we are. But in addition, when we do things in a level of getting some feedback, it's a little bit of fun energy, like March Madness, sort of meets American Idol, if you will. We get a little bit of feedback. It also creates a dynamic where when anything is measured, it improves. Psychological studies show that. We measure something, we focus, and it improves. And so we're working on like focus and improvement and acceleration. And so, yeah, you'll have 3 minutes to have Craig be whomever you want him to be in the world. Perhaps he's a politician that you want to get new legislation passed, right? Maybe he's an ideal client. He might be a perfect strategic alliance, meaning ecosystem partner of yours, maybe for a movie deal, book deal, or it's the 100th anniversary year. I happen to be on the board of the American Foundation for the Blind. It's our 100th anniversary year. And maybe we want to raise some money and get a donation. So what would that look like to talk about contribution? Anything that you want, Craig will be that avatar. He could also be himself, whomever you want. Craig, let's like randomize this. Let's not go in the same order of introductions. Let's see if let's pick somebody, go first.
All right. Well, I really liked David threw me off on that joke there. So David, would you like to go first? You're on mute there.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So who would you like me to be? Your ideal client or whoever you'd like to talk to?
Well,
and don't put me someone trying to get pregnant. I'm the guy, okay? But
David, it would be whatever would be a yes that would matter to you. Yeah.
Yeah, ideal client would be, sort of joking, and anybody has a spine who wants to get well and healthy.
Hey, David, how about you make it just let Craig be Craig, right? So does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, take us in. Well, so he's in your office. There's like actually better yet, you met him at a function, and you're going to talk to him about chiropractic,
sure.
and maybe the yes doesn't have to be like a sale. The yes can be just a longer meeting.
Yeah,
right. It should be a longer meeting. It's all good. So yeah. So please go ahead.
Yeah. the way I see it in my years of experience in chiropractic, there's a lot of misconception about what we do. People think that we're just a pain doctor to alleviate pain. Yes, that is true, but that's just a side benefit. People don't realize that we work with the nervous system, which controls the whole entire body, all the functions. So I always try to educate people on how, by having a healthy nervous system, they can have a healthy life. Obviously with modification in their diet, and their psychological support, whatever that may be, familial support. But many people don't understand exactly what we do as a healthcare practitioners. There's a lot of misconceptions. And so that's why I try to do, to educate people that, if you don't want to take drugs, medication, chiropractic or acupuncture, other modalities are more holistic, more natural, could be something that they want to try. Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. My lower back has been hurting a little bit. Is it something you could fix me right away, or does it take a while?
Which area?
My lower back.
Oh, lower back.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to the stats, right? The U.S. Department of Labor stated that 80% of the adult population will have some sort of low back pain in their lives. So that's a very common ailment. It's accumulation of what you've done in your entire life, from the time you were involved in sports when you were a kid up until now, and also the activities that we do on a day-to-day basis. Now with the COVID, everybody's all locked in the house. We're doing a lot more sitting, right, with computers, using our what I call a text neck. So that affects your low back. So it's getting out of pain. It's not that hard, actually, because once we know what we're dealing with, getting out of pain is fairly easy to get you out of pain. But what most people don't understand is that to stabilize something, stabilize those joints, you need to do the proper exercises and eat the proper nutrition to help stabilize the joint. So that takes a little longer.
30 seconds to go.
All right, that sounds good, David. How would what do I need to do this? And do I need to throw out ice cream, or can you fix me besides my ice cream?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
My ice cream that I'm eating, is it a drastic diet, or is it mainly just
Yeah, well, depends what kind of ice cream you're eating. They do have healthy ice cream nowadays, But believe it or not, diet is a big component of, systemic inflammation. We all know nowadays, people talk about, a diet that are inflammatory, such as, fast food in general, anything that's not, anything that's prepackaged. That's pretty much, and also medication. People don't realize a lot of medication causes inflammation, and even our mental health causes inflammation.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Last 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was it. But thank you, Dave.
Awesome, David. Excellent, David. How'd that feel for you? David, how did that feel for you?
Oh, that's what I do every day. So I guess it's felt good, I guess.
All right, cool. So let's get a little feedback. Craig, Karen, you're gonna hear the buzzer go off with 5 seconds to go, 30 seconds of feedback, 15 seconds will work, 15 seconds can be optimized. Craig, take us in.
So David, thank you so much. I really did like it, that you obviously know what you're talking about, and you're obviously passionate about what you do. I think if you're speaking to somebody that's new to it, you want to build a little bit more into the connection and what they're looking for, rather than having him ask him questions that'll get him coming out to tell you a little bit more about himself. I would give you about a 6.
All right, excellent. Karen.
So I really did like that you validated that you were listening, that he had a lower back problem, and you acknowledged that. The one thing that I might have done differently is put something at stake if he did not address that problem. You did a great job of acknowledging that problem and explaining it, but if he didn't do something, then what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you a 7.
Nice. Excellent. And I'll circle back with a little bit of feedback at the first 3 people or so go. Craig, who's next?
Okay, I'm giving Michael the Surfer Special, so he is next. Good job, Michael.
All right, Michael, who would you like Craig to be?
I don't know, anyone looking for us?
Okay. And so, yeah. All right. So like who would be looking for you? Just give us the avatar description. Like who's an ideal client or ideal referral partner?
Let's say a developer.
All right, Craig, you're a developer. Mike, take this in.
Okay. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
So, Michael, I had my friend, he told me to give you a call because I'm looking to, I've got some land over here. It's got some mixed use property, and I was wondering what you thought about it.
Where's it at? I'm on Google. I can zoom it right now. I can take a look.
Probably as close to the best surfing spot we could find. So I would say down by Black's Beach. It's up on the cliffs there by the Scripps Hospital. And there's some land there. I was thinking, they said I could put in a one industrial building. And so I wanted to get your take on that.
Well, sounds like a great project. I'd love to, I don't know, I'd love to take a look at the site first. I mean, so you're a developer?
Yeah, I've done, most of my work has been down by San Diego, and I've been developing for about 20 years.
Okay, so you pretty much know how the process goes, right? And the kind of general timeline. And I think for us, like, I don't know, I would like to just probably take a look at the site, talk to you more about, what you're really thinking. We could, I'd love to do the project. It sounds great. And maybe after that, I think what we would do is probably look at some kind of feasibility study and make sure you can do what you're thinking you want to do, make sure it's going to pan out, it's going to make sense. And that's after talking to you a little bit more, figuring out what exactly you want, kind of programmatically, and then we'll get you a proposal, and we can talk about like the steps beyond that. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, that sounds really good, Michael. Yeah, I was just worried about, all the little rules they have about, especially in San Diego, about going green, making sure of my wall space. So do you have all that together?
Yeah, and we're kind of right between San Diego, LA, but we do a lot of projects in both. We're doing pretty much a full block project right off of 4th Street over kind of by the airport area. And so, we've got a lot of experience down in the area. If like I said, the feasibility study is where we'll kind of figure out if anything comes up that might be like a bump in the road. And that's what you want to be careful about before you get too deep into it, I think. All right, I should have asked, but where are you within the process? Do you own the property now? Are you in escrow or what?
I own it, and I've done most of the studies for environmental studies, so that's where I am right now, and we're getting a permission to what we can build there.
Well, hey, I kind of have to take off right now. You caught me off guard. My boss said I have to get off onto this other call, but I'd really love to contact you about it, and maybe we can set something up next week and meet on site. That'd be great.
That sounds great, Michael. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, brother. Michael, how'd that feel for you?
Normal.
Excellent. So I'll drop in a couple minutes on the concept of normal and influence and how that all functions. But first, Karen, what did you have for Michael?
Well, I liked your energy, and I liked that you expressed, you'd love to help him, and you acknowledged him as well as asked some questions. So that was great. Maybe just a little more, maybe more questions would have been better. So, but I liked the energy overall. So I'll give you a 7.
Nice. And Craig?
I also, yeah, I liked it also. I felt like it was, you were very sure about it. You were very comfortable with it, obviously. And I did like the fact that you were pulling stuff from him, but with the questions to be able to get to really what he wanted to create. And I think more questions about why he wanted to do it. What is really in his heart for it. And it'll bring him more to aspirational ideas of what he's looking for in the future. I'll also give you a 7.
All right. Nice. Craig, who we got next?
And thank you, Michael. I hope I was being a good developer. All right, Allison, how are you doing, Allison, a hardworking woman?
Good, good. Thank you.
All right. So, Allison, what's a big yes that you'd be seeking in the world, and who would you like Craig to be?
So we have an upcoming hearing in front of Joint Powers Authority, that one of these companies that is the finance lender for these PACE loans. And so we are trying to convince the Joint Powers Authority to discontinue offering these kind of loans. And so the pitch is to try and get them to understand that even though they had the best of intentions, we want them to back away from this fraudulent program.
Beautiful. This is fun. This is awesome, Allison. Thank you. So, Craig, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Allison, please take us in.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Allison Snow, and I represent consumers who have been basically confronted with a potential loss of their home, and some people have even lost their homes. I even have 3 right now who are in bankruptcy, who had to file bankruptcy just to try and save their homes from the super high property tax assessments that they're having to do and pay because of the predatory loans that they've been involved in through this PACE program. Now, I understand that you guys entered into PACE with the best of intentions. I have solar energy on my house. I don't know if you as the board members are super green, but I understand the green movement. I'm not against the green movement, but what I am against is predatory lending, and it's gotten out of control. We've seen that the city of Los Angeles has already discontinued its program because of concerns related to fraud. In the latest class action that's been filed against your loan servicer, Renovate America, unfortunately, it was revealed that there were over 6,500 fake email accounts generated. And because these are all door-to-door transactions and all done electronically, when you have a contract sent to a fake email address, you have no contract at all. And unfortunately, 6,500 loans at about $48,000 per loan, we're talking millions of dollars of people being defrauded. And people are losing their homes. I have grandmas facing foreclosure. One of our bankruptcy clients who has one of these fake email accounts, the email account is none@herofinancing.com. So it includes your domain name and the supposed email. So none at Hero Financing, and she's 80 some odd years old. She's in bankruptcy trying to fight to save her home. If she loses her home, she lives on Social Security only, and she's looking at homelessness. And I'm sure that this program was never intended to cause grandma to be in the streets. And so our pitch to you is to carefully consider, we've tried, and I know that you have tried, you've worked with the district attorney's office to try and create standards, but unfortunately these standards aren't being met. When you don't have control over your sales agents, when you have home improvement contractors selling what's the equivalent of mortgage loans, it's just impossible to control the fraud. And so we are asking that you go ahead and discontinue offering this type of financing to homeowners, at least until you can curb the fraud and show that the fraudulent acts can be dealt with, deal with the problems that exist now. And then if once you get it fixed, you can do it in the future. But right now it's hemorrhaging homeowners and homes. And so that's our pitch for today. I'd like to know what your concerns are do you share the concerns? Are you seeing the same problems? And why would the board want to keep this program?
Well, we have a little,
30 seconds to go. 30 seconds.
we have a little bit of pressure from our investors, Allison, and I hear what you're saying, but also, the loan servicer, we pay them to service the loan. So some of that, that was out of our control, how they service the loans, at $6 a loan, that's out of our control. But I don't know if this is even something I could talk about now. Maybe we need to talk to the board members about this.
Excellent. We would love to set up a time to put it on the agenda and have a formal discussion if that's something that WRCOG's board members are willing to do. We'd love to do that.
All right. Excellent job. Allison, how'd that feel for you?
Thank you, Allison.
Good, little stilted, but good.
All right. I got a quick drop in a moment. Let's start with Craig this time. Craig B. Countdown.
So I will say there's obviously an emotional connection to it for you. There's obviously a passion behind it for you. But I think you went very long at first to explain it rather than first finding out where he's coming from. And I think that's a big piece in all of this, and everybody's step is the first is to find out where they're coming from in all of it and what their ideal outcome is in what they're trying to create in the world, whether it's in their business or life. So I'll give you a 7.
Nice. And Karen?
I loved your acknowledgement and that you did put something at stake, such as the grandma's home and the millions of dollars. You had good energy. You could go deeper with the energy. Validation was there, but maybe asking more questions, as Craig said up front, would be more congruent, but I give you a 9.
Very nice. Excellent work, Allison. Okay. So great job so far. I'm going to just drop in with a couple quick things. So as Craig was saying, let me do it this way. We often think about influence and communication as though it is merely a part of a personality, a kind of extension of who we are, right? And but I think the objective reality is it's incredibly different from that. When you think about a tennis swing, how somebody cooks, how somebody learns to shoot a basketball. Like, these things are not inherently parts of our beingness, right? And neither is how we influence people. Case in point, in one of the large verdicts that we've had, we did some mock trials to begin with, and we had 3 different juries come back at $3 million, $4 million, and $5 million, like in the processing continuum. I'm not saying which case, but 3, 4, 5 million. And then we had people saying, hey, listen, you'd be fortunate to resolve this case if you can get a couple $1 million, run. But that wasn't fair, right? True. It's crazy what had happened. And so, but part of it was because of how we were presenting certain issues about our client really being a victim, and they didn't find our client to be particularly somebody they sympathized with or empathized with. But when in a second round of mock trials that we ran, we pivoted, and I had some thoughts on, it's not really about our client, it's about the wrongdoing and the pervasively awful and horrendous conduct that occurred and it not being allowed to stand. And so we shifted certain mild dynamics. And in the second round of this, the jury verdicts were literally 10 times what they were in the first round. And the verdict itself came in completely consistent with the second round. So had we not worked with some of the nuances of the dynamic, we had worked so hard, and we were in our hearts, and we were totally committed to what was happening. But had we not had certain nuances occur, we could have ended up with a jury verdict of $3 million instead of one that was 10 times that amount, and thought we had done everything we could. So when we think about influence in our marketing, in our selling, in our leadership, in our influence in a courtroom, it's not mildly different. It can be exponentially different. And so I'll drop in after the next 3 people go, but Michael so beautifully said, it felt normal. Okay. And whatever level we're operating at, that level has levers inside of it that could be dramatically and incredibly optimized, but not just the words that we use, because the words we use are 7% of our communication. Our body language and our vocal qualities are 93%, 55% body language, 38% vocal qualities. So yeah, let's unpack some of that in a little bit. But Craig, back to you. Let's get some other fine folks going. And after the next 3, then we'll drop in with a little bit of a demonstration.
All right, the wonderful dad with little sleep so far is Dr. Zachary Cadman.
All right, Dr. Zach, who would you like Craig to be?
A potential patient.
A potential patient?
Okay.
Is that what I couldn't, is that what?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, 3 minutes, take us in.
All right, Craig, have you ever been to a chiropractor before?
Yeah, I did. After laying on the floor for about 8 hours, and my wife came home, accused me of being lazy. And I said, I can't move. The next day I could finally get up and I went to
That definitely affected your life, right?
Yes.
You got to the point where you couldn't really do a lot.
Couldn't do a lot, no.
So I like talking to people like you because I like helping you to never have that happen to you ever again.
I like that.
You'd be interested in that? All right, so what I do is obviously you've been to a chiropractor, I focus on your spine, find out where those misalignments are, causing stress on your nervous system, your entire body, and then correct it. And once we get that corrected, create a plan specific for you and your body and what your body needs to never get down to where you were ever again.
That sounds good. Then my wife won't call me lazy anymore. I like that.
So would the beginning of the week or end of the week typically work better for you?
End of the week, I like getting to just because.
All right. So Wednesday or Thursday would be better for you to come into the office.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would a Wednesday or Thursday be better for you to come into the office so we can get you started on that life health plan?
Okay, well, what does it entail? Like, can you fix them up at one time? Do you only work on the spine, or do you work on other things like my shoulders, or what do you?
Yeah, since your brain communicates and controls every part of your body, once we get that communicating the way it's supposed to, your body can heal everything that's going on. So I've had patients that have had shoulder going on, and once we improve that communication, your body was able to heal itself. Now we don't do like things like nutrition in the office, but we have great referral partners that we can refer you to if we feel that that's a need for you.
No, that sounds good. I like food, so it doesn't hurt to eat a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps your body if you have a pretty bad diet.
Yeah.
Most Americans can always work on it just a little bit, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Zach. All right. That is it. And Zach, I won't bring up the ice cream again, huh? That's not a good one to bring up. Did I tell you I like ice cream? All right, Sean, that was it.
Yeah, Dr. Zach, excellent. How'd that feel for you?
I like keeping it short, so I liked it.
All right, awesome. And what's your mission in the space of chiropractic, and what brought you into the space?
Well, my dad's a chiropractor, so I saw how he was able to help people and have a good life doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. And where is your practice located?
Mission Viejo, California.
All right, very cool. All right, Karen, what do you got?
So Zach, I thought that he mentioned his wife a couple of times, and you just mentioned your dad. So that might have been a really good access point to build a deeper rapport there, if you were to kind of relate back as to how you got into it during your 3 minutes. And maybe just ask a few more questions about, where his specific, something more specific to him. But I think you did a good overall job on explaining what you do. So I'll give you a 7.
How about Craig B?
Zach, exactly what I wrote down. I thought that especially because he was bringing up his wife and his family, for you to bring in your family, I know you like to keep it short, but if you brought in your family and your history into it, I thought that would make him drive towards you more, be more ready to come into you. Also, you jumped into when are you going to come in, rather than allowing him for more, allowing to understand more of what he's looking for. But I also give you a 7.
Excellent. Craig, who we got next?
Okay, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer Pedley.
Dr. Jennifer, who would you like Craig to be?
I think I want Craig to be an imaging center.
Nice. All right, Craig, you're an imaging center. Zach and Jennifer, take us in.
Okay. Hello, Craig. I heard that you are interested in or seeking a chiropractic radiologist. Is that correct?
Yeah, the other guy got the croup and moved out of town, so we don't know what happened to him. So yeah, we're definitely looking for someone.
Okay. So have you ever used a chiropractic radiologist specifically?
We had one before, and then okay, I don't know what I'm doing. No,
That's okay.
before the guy moved out, but he this other guy was just inconsistent. So we
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So what are your goals in actually using a chiropractic radiologist? Have you guys thought about that at all? Like, I'm sure you probably have it structured out. Like, what do you want to use me for? What are you hoping for?
Well, you read X-rays, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of business lately, and then especially in that field, we think we could service clients a lot quicker and help them more thoroughly if we got someone like a doctor.
Okay, great. And I definitely have done that for other imaging centers, and I'd be more than happy to help out as well for you guys. Just to share a little bit of my experience with imaging centers. I like to take it a little bit further than just reading the x-rays, but I like to work with your marketing team. So then that way we can build more rapport with your clients out there, new clients, and then obviously get you more referrals, and then increase the business, which is always our goal. And if we increase your business, then you're increasing my business as well. Is that something that you're looking for as well, or have you ever thought about tagging me with a marketing personnel?
Wow, Jennifer, I'd never thought about that before, but that smells of ecosystem all over it. So I'm excited about. I never really thought about that. I just thought of you coming in doing X-rays. You're a nice gal, but.
Yeah, so I'd like to take it to another step, because in that way, both of us are more successful, and then also we can reach out to a different demographic. Now, maybe you have thought about, maybe you haven't, and we can definitely sit down and kind of sift through that. So some ideas that I have on top of my head is, reaching out to lawyers, other private practice doctors, not just chiropractors, but private practice podiatrists, also orthopedic surgeons as well as another avenue we can take. And then there's many different ways we can go about in marketing to them. For instance, for one example would be I've done lectures to doctors, and they would attend our 2-hour little meeting. We might give some snacks depending on what time of the day it was at, or dinner. And then it increases business and referral to your facility. You can give them a tour of your facility. And then, we can go from there. Is that also something that you would be interested in?
Yes. Do I even have a choice? Yes, that sounds great. I didn't even think about that part, Dr. Jennifer. So we're
Okay.
but yeah, I'd like to, that'd be great. We could get together and talk more about it.
Okay. Do you see any challenges? Any challenges you've already been faced with before, or you might be currently attacking right now?
15 seconds to go.
Well, really, just I know we have a great business. It's just getting the word out and getting clients. That really rung true. So that was
okay. Great. Well, I look forward to setting up a time, and in the meantime, I can set up like a portfolio for you, describing everything that we went through today, and even some more ideas on how we can handle the business and the referrals, and go from there.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
All right. Thank you for contacting me. Appreciate it.
Great energy. Dr. Jennifer, how was that for you?
Great. It was good.
All right.
Probably stumbled a lot, but that's okay.
Great. Your energy was awesome. Craig.
Jennifer, I love the energy. I liked how you brought in exactly what, like I said, started off what he was looking for, as well as the acknowledgement once you started going, and you even gave what you like to do, the acknowledgement of how valuable it would be to him, and what it could possibly create for them in the future. I think people looking towards and seeing a brighter future is definitely a reason for them to say yes to you. And I would give you a 9.
Nice. And Karen.
Yes, I agree. I loved your energy. You had great energy there, and you asked questions and also congruent for what he's looking for. So I'll give you a 9 also.
Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent job, Dr. Jennifer. Craig.
All right, we have Tara Newton. All right, Tara Newton, how are you doing, gal?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. All right.
Okay.
What to be or who?
You're going to be one of my PI attorneys. And the first question I always get from you is, you're just an expert witness. What is it that you're going to do for me? And how are you going to help my clients? So I'm going to go and explain to you one of my most favorite services that I do, and it's actually attend what's called an IME or DME. They're technically not the same entity, but they actually are interchanged. An IME is an independent medical exam that is actually the plaintiff attorney setting that up. The DME is the defense medical exam, and that is the defense setting this up, setting out a notice requesting the injured client, your client, to come to this defense medical exam. The doctor is hired by the insurance company. I am hired by the plaintiff. I then attend this particular appointment as your representative, as the client's representative, and go on behalf of both you and the client. And a lot of times you'll come back and ask me, well, I usually go by myself and I sit there and I just take notes and maybe audio record. And one of the things that also comes back is, you're the plaintiff attorney. You then cannot be the witness should this go to trial. I can then become the witness and actually help to strengthen your case in that regards. You cannot, again, be that witness for that client. It's also really good to send somebody with a medical background, because the doctor is going to do maneuvers and procedures and you want to know what those are. I actually define each of those maneuvers and procedures in the write-up. The other thing that comes about is the defense doctor will then send his report to not only the insurance company, but you'll get a copy of it as well. I then also generate a report that is based off of the audio recording and the notes that I take, and then I send that to you. And again, this is not a normal patient-doctor exam. So in all of the doctors here, if they're not doing PI or workers' comp, they know that they're bound by HIPAA and they're bound by certain regulations. In the DME or IME exam, it's audio recorded and the information is shared. So there's different regulations with that. One thing that also comes back that's interesting is I'll get the report back from the defense medical doctor. And then I set up and do a compare and contrast, where I will look at the actual procedures, range of motion, the measurement, the exams that were done. And a lot of times I will be able to extrapolate and pull and say that particular either procedure, exam, assessment was not done. And so we'll then be able to go back and look and say, well, if this wasn't done, I can do the deeper dive and find out if other things weren't done as well. One of my most favorite examples was I was sitting with a client, a young adult, pretty severely injured in a high-speed motor vehicle accident. And the defense doctor said in his report that it was okay for the school-aged client, while sitting with the parent, to return to their school-age activities. So when we piled through their 25-page report and compared and contrasted with my 22-page report, we found something on each page that either was not true or did not relate to that particular client. So we were then able to go back and say, okay, where in here was this either actually assessed or actually done? And from there, I can also pull back and look at either the standards of care or there's a certain guide. There's a couple of different versions. It's
Go.
What?
20 seconds to go.
Okay, there's an AMA guide where a lot of these procedures and interventions are done. So from there, I can actually reference that if they were or were not done.
That sounds good, Tara. I got to get going. I've got another call, but could you send me a business card or something?
I absolutely will. And I would love to meet with you. We can even meet and we, have masks on and social distancing. We still are allowed to meet during COVID.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds good. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Craig from SoCal, real quick. So actually, let's get the feedback first. And the question I'm going to be coming back to you with, Craig, is have you felt so far today more head connection, heart connection, right? And at what level have you felt the general overview of the heart connection as you've been there as the role player, right? And then Karen, what do you have for Tara?
I thought she did a great job explaining things. It was a lot of information all at once. She was trying to get everything in within those 3 minutes. So maybe just, I wasn't sure exactly what her yes was, and maybe I missed that, but overall just maybe a little bit more energy transference as far as it goes, rather than just trying to get it all out super quickly, and asking the questions and more back and forth would have been better, but I'll give you a 7.
Nice. And Craig?
So Tara, I thought that also same thing. There was a lot of information. I'm trying to understand everything that you were doing and where you were going with it. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to end up in his lap, because you were saying what he was going to ask, and understandably so, because maybe he, as the role player, he might not understand what the play was going to be, but rather than that, also giving the opportunity to understand what you wanted to come up next was the meeting. So I give you a 7 also.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so Craig, so far, like what, head or heart mostly, the connections?
And Michael, I got that. He's just got to go. I got that, Michael. I would say all of you, I felt your certainty in everything, but as far as where I was, again, there were a few people who totally got into my heart and got me excited. And
yeah, just Craig, overall though, would you say more heart, more head?
I would say more in the head.
Okay, and what rating overall would you say for like heart-centered connection?
If I averaged everybody and on the heart part, I would say probably a 5 or a 6.
All right, cool. And so remember, our heart-centered connection is like what opens up listening. And people do business with people much more so based on, I mean, clearly on emotional reasons, not logical. We logically justify things that we emotionally want to do, which is why the work that Allison does is so critically important, right? Because people make emotional decisions, right? But that's just the reality of how it is, right? So everything's been amazing. Just a couple like quick access points. And Craig, I think we have one more participant or no?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. And then I'll drop in with some quick feedback, but yeah, please.
Okay, we have wonderful Greg Critchfield.
Greg.
All right. So how about you're a partner of a personal injury law firm?
Okay. Right. All right, here we go.
Craig, is that you? Craig from SoCal?
Yes, it is. How are you doing? Is this Greg?
Yeah, I've heard so much about you and your firm. How's this year going for you?
Well, it was quite a change with the COVID, because you know me, I like to be seeing people personally. So, and then the court system really slowed down. So we were panicked for about the first 4 weeks, but now things are kind of equalizing out.
That's great. I probably should have introduced myself. My name's Greg Critchfield, and you know, I'm in the industry. I do accounting for law firms, specifically for personal injury, mass tort type law firms. And I've just been following your law firm since the day you guys started, and I've just been so impressed and just been waiting for an opportunity to meet you, and wanted to shake your hand. So luckily we can't really shake hands, but I would like to, you know, get, you know, maybe learn a little more about your firm and what kind of pain points you guys might be having.
Yeah, well, we're, I would say probably just getting clients, like things slowed down a little bit. It seemed like to pick up, but I'm just thinking, I don't know, we were just talking about, do we have too many people in the office or not enough? Like, I don't know the overlap, like the guy who works in the office, could he do more things in our office or not? But as far as busy, we can always use more clients. So that's really where we're at.
Yeah, and that's definitely what I've been hearing, and I'm hoping that you were able to get the PPP loan if you were, and if you ever need help with either getting that loan or then trying to get it forgiven, that's something we can help with. But also just so you know, as my company, we specifically designed ourselves to help law firms not only from an accounting perspective, which is our specialty, but we will get your medical records for you. And in fact, I have a branch of the business where we get nationwide legal leads, and specifically in your area, personal injury, motor vehicle. So, really what we are is a resource to the law firms, to you as the owner of the law firm looking to manage this firm and take it forward. And I'm just hoping to be a resource for you from this day forward. If you ever have like a question or anything accounting or operational related, feel free to just shoot me an email, and I'd love to connect.
No, that sounds good, Greg. Because the tax laws, a lot of that's changed. So that caught my attention when you're talking about that.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent job, Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Excellent. So great energy, great framework, especially out of the gate. We'll talk a little bit more, but first, let's go, Karen.
Yes, I agree. The energy up front, asking him right away, acknowledging him right away. And then just wanting to ask him, learning more about him and the questions. He did mention the scarcity of clients. So you might have been able to go into that pain point a little bit more. And also when he brought up the tax laws, you could have gotten more specific when he mentioned those few little things. But overall, I will give you an 8.
Excellent. And Craig?
Yeah. Also, when you first came in, also I felt like the energy was a lot more connecting. You were looking to tell him the acknowledgments were open there and allowed him the space to be proud of where he was and where he got to. And when he started talking about where he was and what he was looking to do, you could have opened him up, I felt like, a little bit more, and also given him maybe even a little bit of what he could do in the future. I did like also where you brought up the PPP loan and the possibility of getting it forgiven, because I know people are going through that right now. But I gave you an 8.
Excellent. Yeah, Craig, great job. A couple quick thoughts, and then we're going to begin to round it home. So, Greg, awesome job out of the box, like direct acknowledgement. Then you're like, and how are you? Like you took it right into the present. Like, where are you now? It wasn't, and it was your tonality. It wasn't like, hey, how are you? It was like really there. Like you were present, like, hey, with everything going on, like, how are you guys doing? Right? So outstanding. I think the key for increasing depth of connection, Oprah Winfrey said that she held the microphone for 30,000 people because she said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. Those are her words, final show, right? So we're encountering humans. The greatest value that we can add to people is listening, is being present. And something psychologically happens called reciprocity. When we give people listening, they want to give it back. We authentically give people acknowledgement, they want to give it back, right? When we give people that empathy, that caring, even that love, like unconditional, healthy, boundary-filled love, right? They want to give it back. And people do business with people that they like and love, right? So when that moment comes when it's like, hey, so Craig, let's do this for a second. So Craig, yeah, I hear you guys, yeah, it's challenging. Can I ask you this? Like, why do you do what you do though? Like, I know you're involved in personal injury, but like, what's the mission? Like, where are you taking all this?
Well, I just my uncle, when he was younger, that's what got me into this. Was he was kind of done wrong by what happened to him in an accident. So now just trying to keep our firm going. I mean, pay the bills, but also just be able to represent our clients.
Yeah, I hear it, but is like hearing that mission from the beginning, like, is it just about kind of paying the bills right now, which I'm not judging or assessing, or like, what's the deeper like desire for the practice? Like, if you could have it all your way, like, what would it look like?
Oh boy, all my way. I'd love to be able to have a little more time to train the 2 guys that I'm with, because in the court they're not the most effective, and I love to be one of the businesses in this community that people know.
Yeah, awesome. And if I could, I know we only have about a minute to go, but if you got there, like, what would that mean to you?
Oh man, that would I'd be excited. I feel content. I feel like we got to where we were trying to go.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm not quite sure. So thank you. I'm feeling your community mindedness, your heart, your presence, your mission, but I'm also hearing the stress that you're feeling from COVID and from being a little tired with how the practice is going. Am I hearing you correctly?
Boy, yeah, you pegged it on that.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that coming? I sure didn't see that coming.
No, I sure didn't. It's completely crazy. And, sometimes I wake up and feel like, did this really happen? Like, is this really happening? And so, yeah, I feel you. Our last 45 seconds or so here together, because I know we just had a brief window. Could I share a little bit about myself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So as I shared, my name is Greg. And what we do is we help personal injury attorneys in a multitude of ways. But most importantly, we have some frameworks that can help you accelerate new business into your practice. It's one of the areas that we focus on. And what we have found is endlessly in every practice we encounter, there's things that can be done financially to increase profits. It's remarkable. You're working hard, you're going through all the things that you're doing, and just, in some way, shape, or form, sometimes huge, sometimes like medium, sometimes little, but there's money there. And, when you think about it, Craig, disposable income is very different than gross income. It's very different than profit. It's like cash. And so most practices, most businesses in America operate on very narrow margins at the end of the day when you take into consideration the personal expenses of the owners. Do you see that? Like, do you experience that, Craig?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize how vulnerable we were until when COVID came.
Yeah. And so what we like to do is, like, even for people who are making $1 million a year or so, a lot of those folks are spending most of it. People making 300,000, 500,000, they spend most of it. So what we come in to do is we want to increase disposable income. And so I know we're out of time, but if it would make sense to you, I'd be happy to, be happy to have a conversation with you for half an hour or so, or to just let us come in and do a quick complimentary review and find you some money, because that's what we always do. And a little bit of money goes right to the bottom line, your pocket. And that's what we look for. So I don't know, how do you feel about that?
Wow, complimentary. Yeah, Sean, no, that sounds really good.
Okay, pause. Greg, is that like in the realm of who you are and what you do?
I wish I recorded that. Is this
what?
recording? Maybe it is.
It is recorded.
That was fantastic.
Yeah. So, brother, this is what we're here for. And each and every one of us, the levers that you pull, and this will be taking this to conclusion. I realized long ago when I knew I was going to go blind, I quit my job in law school. Quit my job at a big firm right after law school to start my own law firm on a credit card. True story, $100,000 in debt. First person in my direct family line to go to college. When I began to learn the things that we're talking about here and the strategic alliances we create, the speaking engagements we conduct, the complimentary meetings we have with people, and the yeses that move forward from there, change the entire trajectory of everything. So that's what we're standing for. And just listening to that sequencing of hearing him, I heard Craig, and he felt heard. Then I shared the unique distinctions. I put something at stake for him, shared my unique distinctions, and had an irresistible, integrous offer to show him value. And that's what it's all about. And Allison, in the beautiful mission that you're on, it's the same thing. Like, what's that integrous value, that irresistible offer to make them stop doing what they're doing for people? Like, what's in it for them? Because in every conversation we have, it only matters what the other person thinks and feels. It's never about us. Who cares? So that's what it's about. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. And if it's Craig, final words from you. How do people find you, Craig? Because you're up to awesome things in the world in the space of real estate and investing. So how do they find you?
Yes, I do. Chris Cronin Investments. That's what I do in business. And you guys have my email and then my cell phone, 951-255-1063. But
and feel free. each and every one of you, Craig, love you, brother. Each and every one of you, feel free to please put your information in the chat so you can share contact information with each other, judges as well. If this is the end of the journey, just remember that integrous influence is a superpower, and never step into the frame that you're a salesperson taking something if you're not. Like, you're there to add value, and don't let anybody put you in a different frame than that. Share your greatness, but first let other people step into theirs, and you'll have insanely valuable, not only singular relationships, but ones that grow exponentially. We're Unblinded. I'm Sean Callagy. So if it's done, it's done. But hopefully this is just the beginning of our working together. We do free huddles every day. Unblindedhuddle.com, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. And for you out in California, it's replayed, or you can pick it up online. So thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, everybody. We'll keep in touch. Thank you, guys.